Hi again folks, how you all doing? This is a Hornby County Class, County of Brecknock, that was sent to me by Stephen. He says he bought this cheap as a poor runner and that it's got a tooth missing from one of the gears. Let's turn on the power and see what happens. Well, that runs an awful lot better than I was expecting. You can hear it clicking, that'll be the missing tooth. But yeah, it runs not too bad. Let's shove it into the shed and we'll have a wee look. Right, a Hornby County Class. Stephen sent me a picture of this to show the damaged gear. And initially when I looked at the picture I thought, I don't think I've worked on this motor before, it doesn't look familiar. But when this arrived and I took it out of the box, I was like, oh no, I have worked on one of these before. In fact, I've worked on two of them, and they were both Hogwarts Express locomotives. And I think it's derived from a mainline or Dapol tooling, or maybe an Airfix one, I'm not sure. But it's possibly the worst motor Hornby ever put in any of their models. So we'll see. The two Hogwarts Express that I worked on, one was for somebody else, and another was one, I bought it off eBay. It was going really cheap on eBay. I thought I'll buy it, repair it, get it running, and sell it on eBay and donate some money to charity. But after working on it for about an hour or so, I ended up just chucking it in my spares bin because it was just awful. So we'll open it up and you shall see the said terrible motor. Let's just disconnect that. I mean, this is in very good condition, otherwise it all looks absolutely fine. County of Brecknock. So if we can get it running without that clicking, that's really the best we can hope for with this. Right, what have we got? Yeah, I seem to remember that you undo this screw. There's a silly spring for the front bogie, which doesn't really do much. Get that out. And then we undo this screw. Oh, I think we've got a broken body fixing, I think. Yep. It's another problem you get with these. Yeah, that's broken off. So that there used to be part of that. It's broken off. But it won't matter too much because the drawbar will hold the chassis into the body, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. Nice big weight in the front of the body, but oh, it's got a decoder in it. I'll get rid of that. That's the motor, and it's a terrible thing. Nasty, cheap, sort of pancake motor thing. Very similar to the motors you'll get in mainline models, so I'm guessing this originally was a mainline tooling, but who knows, and to be honest, who cares? Right, so we need to get into the gears, so we need to take this off. I really don't want to take this apart any more than I have to. Pickups all seem to be okay. So, but this was running, so that means this decoder's probably okay. But Stephen's given me a blanking plate to put in. But if this is working otherwise, I shall send it back to Stephen. Nasty plastic valve gear that you have to be very careful with. So there's a close-up of the horrible motor. So there's a screw down in there and that nut at the back. I think this might be easier if we get the brushes out first. Get that out the way. The brush is going to fall out, yep. It's all nice and clean. Now I can get into getting that screw out. And we need to undo this nut here. Right, and then the motor just comes out. And the gears are there. So it's the drive gear that's got a missing tooth. Maybe just see it there. That tooth there is missing. Would be the drive gear. That's the tricky one to replace. And I'm not sure you can get a replacement. If it was one of these that was broken, it would be easy enough. You can get replacements. But, okay. So I'm going to go and dig around in my spares box and find the old Hogwarts Express that I worked on, because it might have a replacement drive gear. So dug around in the spares box and I found the chassis for the Hogwarts Express I worked on, and it's got a drive gear in there that appears to be good, hopefully. So I need to try and get it out of here and get it into there. So this has got pickups for this side there, and then below that there's another set of pickups for this side. And of course that wire is probably fallen off. Ridiculously short. I'm just loosening this socket to give me a bit of slack. Doesn't give me very much though, but enough to allow me to get that axle out. Now the crank pins on this are push fit ones, which I don't like. Pop that one out and pop that one out, and there we go. Pop that, get that one out. Which appears to have moved. Don't tell me it's loose. Oh, it is. Oh, it's a little bit loose, but it's not split, I don't think. Oh, it is. Oh, that's a pity. Right, I'm going to go online and see if I can get a replacement, but I've got a bad feeling about this one. Okay, so a couple of days later, I've got a replacement wheel set, which comes with the drive gear. I got these directly from Hornby, believe it or not. It was the cheapest place. They're actually off a Castle locomotive, I think, but it's the same wheels. It's a different part number, but it's the same wheels. Couldn't actually get the ones specifically for a county, but these are exactly the same, so they'll be fine. Right, and not too expensive, so. Right, so that's what we're after. I'll just get the old one. That's the old one there. It's exactly the same, it's just that's got a black gear, that's got a white gear, but they are exactly the same wheels and the same gear. We shall pop this in and get it all back together, and hopefully everything will be tickety-boo. Mind you, should maybe get a wee bit of oil into the axles before we get it all back together. I've kind of forgotten what screw goes where. It's a bit of a schoolboy error. Does that go in there? Possibly. Right, okay. I'm getting myself a bit distracted here. Let's get the this thing back together. We've got the other frame's been held in place with that screw. So let's just carry on. Get that up and get a crank pin shoved in there. Don't like pushing crank pins. Is that one in? I just hope we're not going to have a quartering issue here. You know, I'm just replacing one wheel out of a wheel set. It should be okay, but if I do have a quartering issue, I'll need to remove these two wheels as well and fit the entire new wheel set. Well, we'll see. Right, that's fitted. Get this valve gear back into position. Right. Okay. Don't think we've got a quartering issue. Right. Get the motor back into position. I think we'll give this a bit of lubrication. I'm not going to take the motor apart. I can see the commutator and it's okay. And I'm not going to remove these gears, but there's a screw there. You undo that and these gears come out, and there's a pin holds that one in. And the two plates just kind of clip in place, but yeah, I really don't want to take this apart. We'll just get some oil in there, and some oil in there, and a wee bit of oil in there, and in there. It's very tempting to put a load of grease on the gears, but the gears and the commutator and brushes are all kind of exposed to each other, so you don't want to over lubricate this. You'll just end up in a mess. So just a wee bit of oil here and there, as I did there, and that should do it. Right, so that's going to go in there like so. So that screws in there, then that big long screw goes in there, and that goes over it, and we get that little nut on. Like that. I might have to screw this socket down before I do anything else. Get the brushes and springs in. I never pick tiny little brushes up with tweezers. It's tempting to, you know, just pick them up with tweezers and put them into the motor, but too many times they've just slipped out the tweezers or just pinged off, and sometimes never to be seen again. So I hold them in my fingers, guide them in with the tweezers, and that way they don't ping away. Same with the springs. Okay, that's done, that's done. What have I still to put on? Front bogie. We'll get this blanking plate in. We're done with it. Don't think it matters which way around it goes. Shove that in there. Right. We'll see if this runs. we go. Yeah, it's got no slow pull away at all. It's better in reverse. Yeah, doesn't pull away very well, but that's just because it's a rubbish motor. Right, is that going to work better? That's in place, that's in place. No, it's popped out again. Right, okay. Right. Right, okay. Power on. Makes a horrible noise, but it's just a horrible motor. Pulling about 100 milliamps. So there we go, that's this old Hornby County Class sorted out with a new drive gear and the blanking plate. I don't like the sound it makes, but it's just that cheap, nasty, horrible motor. I was looking online and I believe it's an old Dapol tooling, but yeah, not Hornby's finest moment this at all. Okay then, we'll pull it out of the shed. So there we are, that's Stephen's County of Brecknock sorted with a new drive gear and a blanking plate. It didn't really need anything else done to it, and to be honest, there isn't really much you can do with these models. They tend to make a bit of a horrible noise, the valve gears fall apart if you so much as blow on them, the gears split, and they don't really pull away smoothly at all. They're very cheaply made, and although they look not too bad externally, I would strongly advise not to go anywhere near these Hornby counties and castles that are like this. Yes, they can be picked up very cheaply, but there's a reason they're cheap, and hopefully featuring this in a video will let you see why not to buy one. But noise aside, this should run okay for a bit. I wonder if it's possible to fit the body on a different chassis. Might be worth looking into. Anyway, I plan to be at the Falkirk Model Railway Show this Saturday, the 15th November, so if you're there and you see me, please stop and say hello. Okay, I shall get this packed up and sent back to Stephen. Catch you later, folks.